Good evening. Welcome everyone to Socratic Theory. My name is Socrates Trinidad. I am your host today, where we're going to be talking about a very important topic, and we're going to be talking about the criminal justice system. We're going to be talking about police behavior, experiences on treating different situations, and just pretty much get the mindset on, the training that you're receiving and how your experience been within the criminal justice system. Since I have here one of my dear friends, a father of two, a police officer for 7 years, and a Marine Corps veteran, Matthew Mansir. Welcome.
Socrates, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing phenomenal. I'm just so happy to have you here. I am definitely just mind blown that you're here in front of me today. I'm happy. It's been a while since we catch up, since we talk, so I'm just very happy to get into this topic and let's get right into it.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How do how's your journey been to from the beginning and brought you up to this point of being a police officer?
So real quick, let me start off by saying my views and opinions today are mine only.
Yeah.
So I took the civil service test. The list came out. I went and checked, and I was actually at the top of the list. It was me and a couple other veterans,
nice.
Right at the top of the list. So got hired, went through the hiring process with the town that I grew up in, and then I went to the Plymouth Police Academy back in 2014, I believe it was. Graduated the academy, started working September of 2014.
So why the police? Why police station? Why not like DEA or FBI or Secret Service? Why a police, a frontline worker working directly with the community? Did that come from somewhere? Being able to, you and I are both Marines. We love to defend our country and we want to be able to help.
Yeah.
But why police? Why the front lines? How has that impacted? How did that impact your decision?
So I think overall it was I knew I wanted to work in my hometown.
Nice.
I knew Middleborough it's about 30 minutes south of Boston. It's a very large community area-wise. Population-wise, it's very small. The crime rate is not like it would be in the city or anything like that.
Right.
But I knew there was issues in my town that I wanted to say, hey, I want to be a part of that solution.
Yes.
And the community itself, I love the community. Growing up there, you meet tons of people, you know the area very well. So I feel like it was, if I wanted to go further, I feel like it would be a great stepping stone, but I'm kind of happy where I'm at.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. I know in my criminal justice academic, journey, we talked about the importance of having police officers who are from their same hometown.
Right.
And being able that you was able to notice that before I just can't. So it's very important. I think it's very important for anyone out there or that wants to become a police officer to notice how important it is to be a police officer within your same hometown. Right. And that you were able to notice that before you started, that you wanted to be part of the solution and that you want to go back to your hometown. We were discussing all of these topics in my criminal justice journey with Salem State, talking about how it's different for police officers to be, in the front line and handling the community from a community that they're not a part of or been from, and that can really cause a difference. How do you see that from where you're from? Is everybody from Middleborough, from different people from different areas in your department, or who you work with, and how is that different? How is that relationship like?
Right. So I think it is very important that you have that. You have that experience with the community prior to getting on the job. Yeah. You know the areas, you know the people. Our department, most of the officers, from patrolmen all the way up to the higher ups, I think most of them are from around the area. They may not all live in Middleborough or have grown up in Middleborough, but most of them are from surrounding towns. So I think it's important, just to know the community and who you're dealing with, and I think that's huge when you grow up there. Right.
And would you say that most departments have those local police officers in every department, or is that something that's rare?
No, I think it's fairly common. I don't want to speak for every police department around, but I think it's fairly common. Maybe in the bigger cities, people may come in from like the suburbs and stuff like that. But I think around me, it's very common. You kind of grow up there, you work there. You may branch out, you may go to other surrounding departments. But I think it's real common that most of the people around where I'm from, around Middleborough, I think that they're from those towns.
Absolutely, and to have a mentor within the police department that's from that local community, like you're from there, you've been in the police for 7 years, and to have someone that's coming from not from Middleborough to be able to link up with you and be your partner for a little while, where you can tell them how it really works, how the mindset is there. Right. I think that's very, very important. That should be implemented in all departments as well. Right.
It gives good insight to again the area. Middleborough itself, as I said earlier, area-wise is very big. We're actually the cranberry capital of the world. So we have cranberry bogs. We have a lot of wooded areas. Mm-hmm. So I think somebody that knows those areas can really help out later on in situations, such as maybe a person going missing or somebody in distress that is reaching out for help, but maybe they're in a secluded area. So I think just knowing the area is huge. So yeah, you're right. Somebody that doesn't really know the area to team up with somebody that does. Right. I think that's huge in getting people help when they need it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And what is your experience like when you go out on patrol, when you go and engage with the community about different situations? What is your mindset like to when you're going out to receive a call? Are you on the defense, or are you like in the help mode, or you are in the like what's your mindset like? I feel like a lot of people want to know, when a police officer is arriving at my house, what is their mindset like? Are you here to defend yourself, or are you here to defend me, or are you trying to just figure out what's going on and or trying to find a solution, or like what's that mindset like when it comes to approaching a situation or a call?
It's a very involved question, but I like it. So my personal kind of ideology and how I do this job.
Right.
The more relaxed you can stay I don't want to say relaxed, because I don't want to get complacent. I want to know what's going on. But my mentality is if I can go in starting down here, starting at a lower pace, I can always bring it up if I have to. Right. If that makes sense. Yes. Depending on the person I deal with. From the Marine Corps, situation is going to dictate, kind of where your mentality is. So I guess it all depends on what type of call it is. But my overall goal is to go in there, calm, cool, and collective. Absolutely. And if I have to, I can escalate from there. I find it a lot easier to talk to somebody rather than to try and kind of yell at somebody. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So if I go in kind of just this tone, you and I talk and have a conversation with somebody, it makes the situation go a lot smoother. And I think more people inside the job could benefit from realizing that. And I think people from outside the job could benefit from realizing that too. If I can go in and talk to you like a person, and you can bring,
their heightened emotions
down. Right. If you can kind of come down to my level, my famous line is, I tell people all the time, let's just sit and have a conversation. Yeah. And I feel like things go so much smoother with whatever situation may be. A lot of times nowadays, it's the mental health crisis. We're having a huge problem with the mental health issues everywhere. It's not just my town, it's everywhere. So I think if I can go in and just talk with somebody and have a conversation and have them come down and meet me at my level, I think we're good. Overall, it turns out to be a smooth situation.
Absolutely, because every time a police officer tells me to relax or calm down, I'm like, I am relaxed. I am calm down. My situation right now is really high and intense. This is my level of relaxation in this situation, in this time in my situation, right? Like, you told me to relax. Like, this is me relaxing in this moment.
Another thing.
Let's just have a conversation. Yeah, I can see that working for me. All right,
to go with that, we're dealing with people on their worst day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're in a bad situation.
Police could be being called,
on their bad day, and they're calling me for help. So for me to try and come in and calm the situation down, I think overall is important. Now, there's going to be times where you can't do that. Right. You know what I'm saying? There are going to be those situations where you can't calm somebody down. I've come across it numerous times. Somebody is in some sort of mental crisis. And I don't want to keep bringing up the mental health aspect, but I feel like that's the majority of our calls now. Somebody is in some sort of mental crisis. Not every time can we calm them down, just by talking with them. So.
Right. And that's a great point, being that, mental health, concerns is one of the main topics right now. do you believe that a mental health specialist should be with police officers to handle that? Or do you think, or do you receive any type of training to handle that? Like, because I feel like you're here to protect us but not really manage that. So I feel like there's a gray area there.
Right. So we've done a lot of things to implement different tools. So my department does have a clinician, somebody who is trained to handle those types of situations. And I just had a conversation with her recently. She's a female. I just had a conversation with her, and she explained to me overall what she can handle and what she is called out for. Now, she doesn't work with us 24/7. She is stretched out between different departments, but she is always on call. So she is trained to handle those extreme situations and to be called in. I wish there was more of her. I wish we could clone her.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
We need more people out in the field. So if you're thinking about getting into mental health, help our police officers everywhere. They need the help.
Absolutely.
Because it's a big issue.
But I also do feel like in the past years, we have received more training on it. You know, we do an annual in-service training.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
It's a week long, and you go to that kind of in lieu of your shift.
Good.
So I have seen more training kind of directed towards mental health. And it's huge. It's a huge topic. It's very difficult, to cover all you need to cover in, an 8-hour class or whatever the case may be.
And there's so many different type of mental health issues.
Right. But there is a lot more training kind of being put out there for it. You know what I'm saying?
And it's good to hear that, because someone with a criminal justice background that I have, hearing about so many people who just have a mental health issue and not really have, the support for it. They just end up getting locked up to try to keep them locked up, and then that creates other mental health issues and other mental health problems. And then when they come out, they just end up going back, and that recidivism rate just keeps going up.
I was going to say, we were talking about recidivism earlier, and that's, you fall into that loop.
Yep.
And it's tough to get out of. It's very tough to get out of.
Right, because once you see those records, as you're coming up, you see that record, be like, oh, okay, here's someone who's someone who keeps having issues with the law or whatnot, and it kind of gets you more on the defense and gets you more, you're a little bit more heightened in the situation.
Right.
And then, that kind of creates that conflict where they just need a mental health professional, someone to talk to them through about whatever they're going through.
Yep.
And not really go to jail. Going to jail can create more issues and whatnot. But like you said, it's very important to have, those people to assist you during those calls.
And let me just backtrack real quick. As far as having the like we have the clinician, but as far as having some sort of mental health specialist kind of on call or with us, it's very difficult, because these people that are trained in these types of situations can't go in without us, or can't go to a situation without us. We're going to get on the topic eventually of the defund the police, which I understand what people are trying to say, and I get that. But you can't have one without the other. You can't have just a social worker or a mental health specialist. I'm telling you right now, I work with Department of Children and Families, so DCF. They're a huge resource. We call them all hours of the day and night. But those types of entities and those specialties, they won't go to a house without us, for their safety, for everyone's safety.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's great that we have all these resources as tools, but the problem is they can't go into a situation without us. We can't go in with them. So I think working hand in hand, you know what I'm saying? I think overall can help a lot of problems.
And, going off of that, on that teamwork, I definitely want to be able to talk about, what is the first step for community-based policing? As you work with these, professionals working together, how do you see yourself, implementing community-based policing? Right.
So as far as community policing, I'm a huge fan, mainly because me personally, you know me, you know how I work.
I do.
I like to have a personal relationship with everyone I meet. That's just how I am.
Right.
So I think trying to have a relationship with the community, just to get to know the community. The first step in community policing, I think, is to know who your community is and who's in the community, and for the community to know you. So if I go out there 24/7 and I go out as Officer Mansir, people don't know me. But if I go out there and I say, hey, how you doing? My name's Matt. People start to look at me as not just somebody with a badge and not just somebody in a uniform. They say, okay, this guy's a person.